Hey guys, what is up? This is YoMikester238 and today we're actually going to be building a kind of new version of this, which is funny because we literally just built it the other day. Turns out that there has been a update to the villagers in 20W18A, and so we cannot actually use the same villager farming system we used last time. If you are just using the cow system, then you are totally fine, all this part works, but we will be making just a few modifications. I won't do as much explaining in this video. But for this wheat farm that we have, this new wheat farm right here, Freish, our fellow YouTuber, has actually created another video for a wheat farm right here that we have got going on. And he gave me permission to use this in my tutorial. If you guys want to check out his video, I highly suggest that you do because he explains a lot of stuff and it's really, really good. Really highly recommend watching it. I'll put a link to that down in the description. And with that said, I hope you guys do like this video. If you do, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But with that said, we're not going to be doing too much explanation in this video today. It's mostly just going to be block by block tutorial. If you would like to see the explanations, you can go ahead and visit my previous video where I explain literally everything in so much detail. I will be explaining the AFK processing once again, just because that is a little bit confusing and I want to put that in this tutorial as well. But this should work in 1.16 plus, and hopefully that will work as far as we know until there might be new updates about villagers. We're not 100% sure on that part, but it does work for the 1.16 version. So with that said, let's jump into the materials and then let's start building this tutorial. For the materials, we got this right here. So we got these guys right here, and you guys can pause if you need to. We got this one right here. And we got these materials right there. So that is all you need to make this farm. And with that said, let's jump into creating this tutorial block by block. Let's do it. Alright, so now that we got the resources you got, we will start with the block by block tutorial. And real quick, I want to say that this black stained glass and this spruce trapdoor, it doesn't need to necessarily be black stained glass or a spruce trapdoor. As long as you have a trapdoor or glass, this whole thing should work. So now let's begin the tutorial. Let's place a chest right here. This will be where you get your resources. And from there, we will have 3 hoppers going from the back. So that's 1, 2, 3. On these 2 hoppers right here, we will actually place our trapdoor on top of these 2 right there. And then we will get our glass that we're working with, and we'll go 1, 2 blocks on this hopper. Then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all the way around, just like this, creating a kind of little cave that I guess the cows will sit in. Now we'll get our sign and we will put it on this block right here, the back one, the one furthest away from the chest. Right next to it, we will place the lava. Now that we got that placed down, we'll get the blocks, our glass out again. We'll place 1, 2, 3 above the block right there. Now we will bring these 2 blocks up on either side and we'll put up another sign. This is going to be where the cows get funneled in. From there, we will get our blocks and we will actually go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over, and we'll do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over, just like that. And you can see we have a little bit of a platform now forming. Now up here, if we put these 3 blocks, oops, not right there, right above these signs, 1, 2, 3 right there, we'll go 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9 on either side. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and have it symmetrically, perfectly in the middle. Now that we got that, we will extend 8 blocks from this block right here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we'll do this on either side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we'll connect these 2 blocks, creating a little bit of a retainer, a little bit of a wall. From there, we will go ahead and actually just fill in this little platform right here, so that is flush around the whole side. And we'll do the same thing over here. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. And you can see we're getting kind of a little container, which is perfect. This is exactly what we want. From there, we will actually keep this 1 block lower because this is how the cows are going to be funneled. So we'll bring this over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we will place 1 block above it, just like that, just like so that you get this kind of little bit of a cage right here. Now that we got that going on, we will actually build up this wall, which it looks like if we go from this height right here, we will go 1, 2, 3 blocks up. So go around the entire edge and build 3 blocks up on every single edge, as I will do right now. Okay, so once you have that done, you should have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks up in the interior, and that's what it should look like over here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is perfect. Okay, now that we got that, we will get our signs out. Doesn't matter if it's a spruce sign, you can use any sign. We'll place this one on the back wall, and then we'll shift, right click, and we'll keep doing that, oop, not right there, until it goes across the entire platform. So keep doing this right here. And we're almost there. Whoops, don't want an S on the sign either. It doesn't really matter if we have an S on the sign, but I prefer it not. And it looks like I am messing up my placement quite a bit. Okay, so now that we got that, we have the signs all the way going across. We'll place water along this back row right here, just going all the way across so that the water always flushes and goes into this little sign area right here. And we'll do the same thing on this side as well. So now that we got that, we will get 1 block of water source and place it right there. And as you can see, the cows will get funneled perfectly into this little system where they will end up in the killing chamber down below. Killing chamber doesn't sound too bad. It's supposed to be a fun little place for the cows to go. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But now that we got that, we will place some blocks in the smack middle of the center. So find the center real quick. These are some temporary blocks that I'm putting. I'm going to put a block here, and I'm actually going to get my red concrete out. This is going to be where your character stands when AFKing, so I like to mark it out so that you can see that. And we'll have one block going over this edge, so 2 glass blocks right there, then 1, 2 glass blocks right here. And as you can see, we have found the exact center of this farm, which is perfect. So we can go ahead and break these temporary blocks and these temporary blocks so that we have this little bit of a cross right here. Now we can break the middle of the cross, and now that we have this, we'll actually go underneath. And I did say this in the last tutorial and I messed this up again. If you want it to be a little bit easier when placing these blocks, just go ahead and don't put the water in just yet. Place them in afterwards. But what we will do is we'll place a trapdoor here, one right here, and one right here. And now we're going to place a temporary glass block right here and here. Well, this one is permanent right here, because on this one we're actually going to put a ladder. That's where the cows are going to sit on. And this glass block is temporary to make the placing down the water a little bit easier. So now we place the water right there above the ladder, and then what we got to do is we got to replace this glass block with a top trapdoor. So you got to do that a little quick. So just break and right click really quickly so the trapdoor is right there, creating this perfect little killing chamber. So now that that is done, we will move on to the more technical aspects of this build. All right, so now we move on to the more technical aspects. So right here we have our AFKing spot, and to protect it from phantoms, what we will do is we will place a temporary block right here, and we will go one over, one over, one over, just like that, and make this 2 high. So we got a 2x3 wall surrounding us on this right side. Now we will place this temporary block back and make a little bit of a circuit right over here as well, a little bit of a wall to protect us. But on this block right here, we actually do want to use a solid block. Reason being because this is going to be where we turn the farm on, and through glass you can't activate redstone dust, but through this lever you can. Through solid blocks you can. So now that we got that, we will place this lever on this block to finish off the little bit of the AFKing chamber. We'll put one trapdoor here and one trapdoor here going inwards like this. This just keeps you snug and nice in the little area right here. We will get a slab out real quick, one of the first slabs that we will use, and we will place it on this top half of this block. That way you can see the cows through this little gap and continue to feed them and stay safe in your AFKing spot. So now that we got that, we will go from this block and we will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 long, I believe. Let me make sure over here real quick. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is perfect. We want 7 blocks going away from this area. Then we will go up 1 block right here, and then we will turn left and we will go up 2 blocks. That's 1 block here, and that's 1 block right there as well. Now that we got that, we will get a redstone dust and we will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We will stop because we don't want to actually go into this block right here. From there, we can get a redstone torch out and place it on this side of the block facing this direction. And we can also get our dropper out as well. This is kind of a timer system. This is kind of important, so make sure to put this in. We do want the dropper facing inwards like so, and that way we can have the items actually dispensed onto this block. And what we will do is we will get our glass block out again, or actually we want a pressure plate. Make sure it is a wooden pressure plate. You can't use the heavy weighted or the light weighted. I'm not sure about this polished black stone pressure plate or the stone pressure plate, but make sure it's wooden and this should work fully. So we'll place a pressure plate right there, and then we'll surround this little system with some glass. So we'll place a glass block there, one right there, and one right there, and then we'll place 2 on top like so. And that should be this part of the little system completed. Now we'll place a temporary block right here, and then we'll go 1, 2 over just like so, so that this block is lined up with the redstone torch. And now that we have these 2, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So now that we got that, we'll actually extend this 1 block over here as well. And it looks like it's right by the chest. So if that gives you a little bit of a visual hint, I guess that can help you out a little bit. So now that we got that, we'll place 2 redstone dust right here, and then we'll get our comparators. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 facing the right direction right here, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 facing this direction right here as well. And we will place 3 redstone dust right here on this wall. I'm going to flick this lever just to turn this off so that we don't have to worry about this whole mechanism triggering while we're building. And there we go, turns off. So now we will get our sticky piston out, the 1 sticky piston that we have, and the observers that we have as well. If I can go ahead and type observers. We will want, and if I can click in the right spot, look at that, I am messing up today. So now that we got that, we will have our sticky piston facing this direction right here. We want our observer facing this way, so whoops. This is just creating a redstone clock real quick. So we have the observer facing this way, and then we will have 1 observer 1 block away right here facing this way. That's exactly what you want it to look like. And we'll place 1 solid block behind the observer, and we will get our dropper out once again. And we'll have the dropper. When you place the dropper, it should align perfectly right over the AFKing spot. So right there, and look at that, it matches perfectly. That's good. That means we've done this part right, which is always good. So now that we got that, to mob-proof this a little bit more, we will place a glass block here, here, and here, and here to make sure that mobs don't spawn on top while you are AFKing in your farm. From there, let's get our hoppers out once again. We will have 1 hopper facing into this dropper right here that sits above you. Then we'll have 1 hopper facing into this block, and we'll have 1 hopper facing into that hopper with a double chest on top like so. And this is where you will place the wheat. This is where you could stop if you want to do your own automated, if you didn't want to have a wheat automated farm, this is where you could stop and just put your own wheat supply in, and the farm would work perfectly fine. But I do recommend having this addition of the automated wheat farm. That way this whole process is 100% completely automatic. So now that we got that, we will move into the even more technical parts and get this farm built as well, and then we'll be done with the tutorial. So let's go ahead and move on to the more technical start of this farm. Before this would actually work, this is the exact same farm that we have created before, but what is different now is the items that we actually get in the storage system and the way we create the wheat farm. So with that said, let's hop into building the rest of this farm. So if we get our chest, we're gonna go one chest over, and that's just a temporary one right there, and we're gonna have a double chest right here, and then we'll do the same thing right over here. So I'll put 2 chests right there, just a couple, just to get some temporary blocks, and right there we should have 3 full chest right there, big chest right there, and that is working perfectly. Now what I'm going to do, this step is fully unnecessary and you do not have to do it at all, but I'm doing it just to keep my mind straight. Right here I'm going to label this as seeds, and then over here I'm going to label this one as bread, so that way I know which items we're trying to sort into which chest. So now that we got that though, we will get our hoppers, and we will have a hopper going directly into each one of these chests. So we'll have 1 hopper here, 1 hopper here, 1 hopper here, and as you see, they are going into the chest. Next, we will place temporary blocks on top of each of these chests. So that's 1, 2, 3 right there. We will have 1 hopper going into this block, 1 hopper going into this block, and this one as well. When you break these temporary blocks, these hoppers should be facing an air block, and that is 100% necessary, 100% critical. If you do not do that, then this farm will not sort itself and it will not work. You'll get a bunch of random garbage and a bunch of random chests, and you do not want that. And one thing I noticed as well, you can go ahead and put a glass block on top of this hopper to prevent mobs from spawning on it. I don't know if mobs can actually spawn on hoppers or not, but you know, better safe than sorry. So now that we got that though, we will go ahead and begin creating these kind of sorter systems right over here. So get a solid block, and on each of these bottom hoppers we'll place 2 blocks. So that's 1, 2 right there, 1, 2 right there, 1, 2 right there as well. And these are going to be the exact same shapes, but I'll build them 3 times so you guys can see 3 times and make sure you guys are building them right. So right here we place 1 block underneath, 1 block underneath, 1 block underneath, just like that. We get this kind of upside down L shape right there. Then we'll place a temporary block in the middle and place 2 on either side and break the temporary block, creating this kind of fish shape. Once again, I'll do that again. Temporary block in the middle, then 1, 2 right there, and break the block in the middle. And I'll do it one more time, 2 blocks right there, break the block in the middle. And now we will begin placing the actual redstone components on top of this machine itself. So get your redstone computers out, and by each of these hoppers we'll place a redstone comparator facing this way, just like that. And then we'll get a redstone dust out, and we'll place 2 redstone dust on each and one of these. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, just like so. Next, we will get a redstone repeater, and we will place them inside facing towards this block. If we were to bring this over right here, and I were to start ticking the redstone repeaters, you can see how it's traveling which direction. So we do want the redstone repeaters facing this block right here, just like that on all 3 systems. Lastly, we will get a redstone torch, and on this block, the upper one, the one that's a redstone repeater is facing into, we'll place 3 redstone torches, just like that, on top of this little circuit right here. And now the circuit is ready to be organized a little bit. If you guys would like to see an explanation on how this works, go ahead, check out my other video, because I do have explanations to how this works and how the sorting system functions. So now that we got that though, we will actually get the items that we want to sort, which is seed, we want some bread, and we want some wheat as well. We want these 3 products, and we're going to go ahead and start fixing and creating the sorting system. So in this hopper, the one that is facing the air, we will actually place 4 stone, and this block right here does have to be a block that you are not going to use. It's a block that will hopefully never go into your system, because if a stone goes through the system and goes into the system right here, then the system will break. So don't place a block in here that you use a lot of. I would recommend just renaming the blocks honestly and putting them in there. But now that we got that clarified, we will just go ahead and stick our bread in there. You only need 19 bread, but I'm just putting a much in so that you can see that's actually going to the chest. Now over here, we'll do the same thing. So we'll put 4 stone, and I'll show you right here that you only really need 19 overall in order for the system to work. You don't need a full stack. As you can see, it's staying at 18, just like the bread is over here now. And that's all you really needed. So it's 19 wheat or 19 bread. And last but not least, let's get the wheat sorted as well, which we'll go ahead. And again, you only need 19 to start the system. But after that, you can put as much in there as you want, because it doesn't really matter after that. So now that we got that, we should have seed in this chest, bread in this chest, and a little bit of wheat in this dropper right here. And that means we're working it well. That means everything's going right. One last thing before we actually start moving on to the continuing the sorting system and everything like that, I did forget to mention, if you get your granite blocks out, or not granite, just some useless block that you're never going to use, because these blocks right here are just going to be used to create a timer, a 5-minute timer. If you want to see the description, check out my other video. But basically, you just want some useless blocks in here, and this will keep the system going. Something you have a lot of, something that will dispense, and something, or not dispense, but drop onto this pressure plate. And each time one of these blocks are dropped, this pressure plate it will eventually despawn, creating a kind of 5-minute timer. I'm not the best at explaining in this video because I wasn't prepared. But if you want to check out the explanation, check out my other video. Just basically fill this dropper with a bunch of useless items that you're never going to use. So now that we got that settled, we can go ahead and get our hoppers back out and start creating the rest of this hopper chain. First, I'm going to go ahead and get a chest, and I'm going to place a double chest right here, right in front of this hopper. A little kind of wonky, but yeah, it's right there. So now that we got that, we'll have our hoppers going into it. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more hoppers. And this chest is basically a chest that accounts for a bunch of junk. Say you were to accidentally drop your hopper in there, instead of going into the other systems, instead of like transferring down into these chests down here, you'll have it transfer into this chest so you can collect your resources and stuff. It makes it a little bit easier to get it back. So now that we got that, we'll have one hopper on top of this, one hopper on top of here, and then 2 hoppers going straight into that. And that should be the redstone aspect of this whole farm, I believe, pretty much done. From there, we will begin creating this farm, which once again, Freish, he has created a video, an amazing video explaining this whole concept, everything, how it works and everything. I highly recommend checking it out. I'll put the link down to my description. But basically, this automatic wheat farm does work in 1.16, and it's perfect for exactly what we need to use it for. So from there, we will go ahead and get our smooth stone block or just any solid block that you have, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 over just like that. And this is going to be our center block right here. So from there, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. So overall, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for a little bit of a visual. If you were to line this up right here where this comparator goes 2 blocks over. And this is, if you go fly over here real quick, this is just the center of the farm where the 2 villagers will actually communicate and give each other wheat. The wheat will then be transferred down into our system along with some bread and stuff like that, so that it can be given to you when you are functioning in this whole cow farm. So now that we got that though, we have got the 9 blocks. I believe it should be 9 blocks. It should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, actually 11. So add 2 more blocks, one on either end, just like so, going around this whole thing. And from there, we can go ahead and start creating the rest of the farm. So now if we get our blocks, we should go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in this direction. We'll do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we should connect these 2 up to create a little bit of a rectangle or a square in the middle. Then over here, we'll do the exact same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just like that. And we'll go over here, do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we will connect these as well, creating a grid of 9 by 9 blocks in the center. So if you get your grass block or dirt block, it really doesn't matter as long as it can be used to turn into farmable ground. We'll go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is perfect. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now go ahead and fill in both of these squares fully with farmable land, as you can see right over here. So go ahead and start doing that real quick. Okay, so now that we have got that finished, we can go ahead and start resuming building the rest of the farm. The next thing you want to go ahead and do, which I will probably just do a cut real quick, is create a glass wall going all the way around that is 2 blocks tall on all of these smooth stone or solid stone blocks that you have. So go ahead and make sure this is 2 blocks high and just create it around, just like I did like here, a little corridor to keep the villagers in. So go ahead and do that. Alright, so now that we have got this glass corridor going all the way around, we will get some light sources. You don't necessarily need to do this, but it does speed up the plant growth, so I highly recommend doing it. We'll have 1 light here, 1 light here, and it doesn't have to be necessarily sea lanterns. It can be glowstone, or if you don't want to replace the blocks at all, you can just hang lanterns in the farm right underneath these slabs. You can go ahead and hang them up right there. It will make it a little bit more difficult for the villager to get around, but it does end up working. So now that we got all of that, we can add some more lights too if you would like on the composter, as you can see we did right over here. So you can do that if you would like, which I'll actually get my composter out. Now, before we start turning this into farmland and finishing this off a little bit, we want to find the center of each of these squares right here, which as you can see I just did there and there. And we want to get some water and a slab that we will be using. It doesn't matter what type of slab, as long as it is a slab. We'll put the slab on the bottom half right here and fill this up with water. And we will do the same thing right here, bottom half, and make sure you fill it up with water. Do not, and I repeat, do not accidentally fill up a top half slab, because if you do, the water will fall down onto this redstone and break everything, and you'll lose all your progress, and you'll probably cry, because that's what I do in those situations. So now that we got that though, we will create the rest of this little chamber. This is where the villagers are gonna meet, and I'll show you how to build that. So if we get our glass and we go 1, 2, 3, 4 over, and get our glass over here and go 1, 2, 3, 4 over, we'll actually make this 2 blocks tall so that the villagers can't actually get to each other. But we will have a meeting spot where they can actually go ahead and throw some wheat at each other. Looks like they are trying to do that right now, so that's perfect. So in order to create that, and again, I highly recommend checking out Freish's tutorial because he explains how this works and everything. But in order to do that, we will get some trapdoors out real quickly. So we got a trapdoor right there. And we will place it on this block right here going one up. And the next trapdoor, we will place one block right here going up as well. Make sure it is on the hopper like so that you have one trapdoor that is truly on this block and one trapdoor that is on the hopper as well. I couldn't think of the word real quick. So now that we got that though, go ahead and get your rail out. I didn't mention rail in the materials, but this is something you'll need to get the minecart hopper down. So make sure you get your minecart hopper out as well. I'm sorry I didn't mention that. I forgot to mention it, but that's all right. So now that we got that, we'll just place a temporary block right above here. We'll place the rail on top along with the minecart hopper, and then we'll break the rail right there and let the minecart hopper fall straight through. Now what should happen is you should have a minecart hopper stuck in this position. And what Freish so cleverly did is all he did was let down this trapdoor and then put it up again right there. And you can see that the minecart hopper is now sitting on the hopper, where if we were to throw this item in, since it's not wheat or anything like that, it should go directly into this chest right here, which it did perfectly. So now that we got the system set up, this is exactly where the villagers will come up and actually breed, not breed. They will breed right here in the center. Now that we got that set up, we'll actually add a little bit of a glass topping right on top so that they cannot jump up onto the signs and then jump off and ruin the farmland. So to create that, we will have 1, 2, 3 over the center right here, and then we'll have this go out right here, and we'll have this go out right here as well. And as you can see, even if I wanted to jump onto the trapdoor right here, I wouldn't be able to, so the villagers won't be able to destroy the farmland, which is perfect. Now that we get that, we can get our composters and put a light source on either one of these. Again, you don't have to necessarily put the light sources unless you are building this underground. If you're underground, you do need the light sources right here, but this does speed up the growth a little bit and make it a little bit nicer, a little bit easier right there. And then I also did put one originally in my farm in the middle. I guess you don't really need to do that if you don't want to. It's totally up to you. But now that we got that, we can go ahead and get the villagers and begin getting them into their working profession. So if we put this guy right here and we put this guy right here, and I put the time set to 5300 because that's when they like to work, they should pick up their professions immediately. And to get this farm started, you do need to farm all this land. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. I'll get my hoe out and I'll use another hoe just because, you know, I wanna flex a little bit. But we'll just go ahead and make sure that you plow all this farmland on either side. So go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so when we started farming, you probably realized that you couldn't hoe this piece of land because the trapdoor is on top of it right there. That is purposeful. You do not want to hoe that piece of land, so leave that be. If you want to turn it into smooth stone or whatever, you can. It's totally up to you, but just leave that block be and it should be fine in all honesty. So now what we will do to get the villagers started on the planting, and this is where it gets a little bit easier. If you want to speed up the breeding process and the wheat making process, you can go ahead and actually give them each, I think it's 4 stacks of wheat, but all you really need to do is give them a couple stacks of wheat seeds, and they should begin farming if the time set is 5300 or just work time that the villagers work. So let's go ahead and I'll give this guy some seeds as well so that he can begin some planting. Here you go, buddy. Go ahead and pick them up. And as you can see, they should start planting right away. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and help these guys out and actually put the wheat seeds down here. And again, if you want to speed it up, just to make the wheat be producing immediately, if you go ahead and get some wheat in your inventory and give them just a few stacks each. I don't know if this is necessary. In Freish's tutorial, he explains perfectly if it is necessary or not, but I like to give them just a few stacks of wheat just to make sure everything is working. So I'm going to give them each just 2 stacks and then it should be fine. Honestly, I think though in his tutorial, he was saying that all you really need is the seeds and then maybe helping the villagers out with planting the seeds so that it goes a little bit faster. But let's go ahead and get all the wheat seeds planted on each of these farms, or you can just wait for the villager to do it. Either way, we just want the wheat seeds real quick planted all the way around real quickly. All right, so we have got the wheat seeds planted right there. And if I want to, I can go ahead and just real quickly make them grow. So let's do that. And if I press the enter button, there we go. We can see it's grown and they are starting to pick their wheat seeds, which is perfect because it is working time and they should be. At least this villager is. He's taking and replanting. This guy's a little confused. Go ahead and you can break the crops. Go ahead and do it, buddy. But now that we got that happening, the wheat farm process should be pretty automatic from here. You will get some bread in the inventory. That is bread that the villagers make. This is bread that I threw in. But eventually, you should get some bread flying in and some stocking going in, which is perfect. Maybe a few seeds every once in a while. And that means that the whole process is working. The very last thing we want to do to protect our villagers is get some slabs, bottom half slabs. And we will actually go ahead and put this on this layer right here, going just completely filling up this entire radius. As you can see, we did right over here until the whole thing is covered by these slabs. That way the villagers are ensured their safety and they won't get struck by lightning and turn into a villager zombie or anything. So I will go ahead and actually fill this in, and then the very last thing we have to do is show the how the AFKing works, and then you'll be set and you will have your first ever very automatic 100% automatic leather farm tutorial done, and you'll be getting stacks upon stacks of leather every hour, which is perfect. So let's go ahead and jump into the AFKing part, I guess, once I get this finished. Now onto the AFKing explaining, and I did want to mention real quick, I forgot to mention this in the beginning of the video, but you do need 20 cows for this farm, and 79 leather per hour and 89 steak per hour is the rates, which is perfect. I know that doesn't sound as impressive as like an 18,000 gunpowder per farm thing, but this is actually really good as far as leather goes. And as you can see, I did test this a little bit with the baby cows right there real quick, but I will explain the very last parts to you. So you do need 20 cows in this little section right here. You do not want any more or any less, because any less will provide less rates, and any more will provide entity cramming and kill the cows themselves. You do not want to try to breed the cows inside there, because once you breed them, the baby will actually fall through. That's how this farm is designed. So instead, you want to get 20 full grown cows, and each time you want to put them in this little area. And the best way I found to do that was just to get a lead, jump up over here, and just wait for the cow to jump in, because he will eventually. Maybe if you go block back further too, he'll walk into this little hole. You might have to push him in there a little bit, but there we go. We see we got him into this hole, and that is him inside this little breeding ground where he will be with the 20 other cows. So you do want 20 cows for this farm. And with that said, I think that's just about it with the explanation behind the cows getting them in. Let's go into the AFK process though, which is a little different. You have to use real world stuff in real life to get this farm functioning, which I'll explain exactly how to do. So if we go in here and get this trapdoor, oh, one more thing too. Before you do the AFKing, make sure that this dropper is full of wheat, this hopper is full of wheat, and at least most of this hopper, as you can see, it's not fully full, but most of it is full with wheat. You do want that to ensure that you are provided enough materials to continue feeding the cows while this farm goes. So once you get inside, you will walk up all the way to these cows right here, and you will get your wheat out. And you want to make sure to always have a stack of wheat that you are using before breeding these cows, because if you do not have a stack, then you might run out of some wheat along the way. Then we will go ahead and hold down the right click button, and I did feed them just a second ago, so they're actually not going to be fed right now, but you can see how my cursor is on the cows' faces, and eventually, after 5 minutes passes by, they will begin breeding and sprouting out cows. There you go, you can see one jumping out right there. So in order to keep this going, once we start feeding these cows right here, you will actually begin to flick the lever right here, and as you'll be able to watch, I get wheat in my inventory, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. Now we just need to figure out how to hold down the right click button so that this can be fully AFKable. So the way I have done this, there is actually two ways, which, here I am, hello. So the two ways we can actually do this is we can get some tape and tape down the mouse with the right click button on the right side so that the cursor is being pointed at the cows and the right click button is being held down. I'll provide a picture of that right now. And as you can see, this will just hold down the right button for you guys and make it so that you continue feeding the cows and this farm becomes fully AFKable. Now, the second way we can do it is a little bit more tricky, but it's still not too terrible as well. If we want to have the right button held down, we can go ahead and go to our options and controls. Right here, we have jump, that's a space bar. So usually you press the space button to jump. And right down here, that use item / place block category was the right button, which is the mouse button. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and change these guys. So if we press jump, if we left click the space button right here, then right click with the mouse, you can see now it says right button, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. Now, if we go down here to the use item / place block, we will press left click with the mouse, this button, and then press space bar right there. Now what this does is it inverts the right mouse and the spacebar button. So if I'm in my inventory, I jump with my right button now, with my right click and my mouse, and the spacebar is actually what I use to move these trapdoors and stuff. So now what we can do is we can put the cursor on these cows right here and just hold down the spacebar button, but we still need to automate it. So I'll show you a picture of what I did. I just used my speaker, my Amazon speaker that I got, and I placed it on top of the spacebar. Gosh dang, I cannot talk right now. And basically what this does is it holds the spacebar down, and the spacebar is acting as a right click button right now, so it is automatically breeding the cows, and you really just need an item that is heavy enough to sit on the spacebar. And after that, you will start just AFK. You have the farm started, and as you can see, I'm feeding the cows, which is good. The spacebar is being held down by a larger item. There's babies popping out, which is perfect. So now that we got that working, if you guys need more explanation, go to my other video because I do have more explanation about how this works. I'm going to go ahead and actually put my controls back to their normal controls though real quick. So now that my spacebar is space and my right click is right click. But if you need more explanation on the AFKing process, I highly recommend checking out my other video because I go over that in a lot more detail. I explained it like 5 to 6 times, which is more than enough, but it does get the explanation done, which is always good. If you have any comments on how this farm works, go ahead and comment down below. Go ahead and check out my other farm if you have any other questions because I explain exactly how this all works. And go ahead and check out Freish's automatic wheat farm if you just want some automatic wheat, because this farm is absolutely amazing. It gets you a lot of wheat and it gets a job done perfectly. So with that said, I think this might be my last redstone video. I don't know if I ever need to update this fully 100% automatic leather farm again. If I need to update it, I probably will go ahead and do that. I'll probably give another tutorial if I need to. But this is basically the whole thing done. Check out my other video if you have any questions, or if you want any of this explained in more detail, like the redstone components and whatnot. I do go ahead and explain that in my other video. And with that said, if you guys did like this, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, because it always really does help me. And go ahead and enjoy your new automatic leather and automatic steak. With that said, guys, I will see you guys in the next video. Comment down below if you have any comments or questions, and I will see you guys in the next video.